Ciao everybody, Caterina here. Welcome to my kitchen on this beautiful summer's day. Well, tomorrow is Father's Day, and I thank God every time I'm able to say my sweet papa is coming here to have lunch with me on Father's Day. I have prepared a beautiful lunch for him with all his favorite foods. And for dessert, I'm going to be preparing a chocolate crepe cake that my husband and I first had in Paris. We loved it, and I'm going to be preparing this for my sweet papa tomorrow. Now let's get started. Okay, now for the crepe, you're going to need 3 cups of full fat milk. What I'm going to do, I'm just ever so slightly going to heat it up. Okay, to the milk I'm adding 7 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm just going to allow it to dissolve. While my milk is heating up ever so slightly, I'm going to add 6 eggs to my blender. The sugar has dissolved. This is ever so slightly, ever so warm. Now I'm going to add it to my eggs. Just going to give it a quick blitz. That's it. I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of melted butter at room temperature. Now another quick blitz. I have 1½ cups of all-purpose flour and 2/3 cocoa powder. I'm just going to blend these two together, and I'm going to start adding it to my blender a little bit at a time. Now I'm just going to add a tablespoon of espresso. Chocolate and espresso go beautiful together. Okay, final blitz. In the refrigerator for half an hour. So while my crepe batter is being refrigerated, we can start with the filling. Here I have 4 cups of extremely cold whipping cream. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of icing sugar and 1 cup of mascarpone cheese. Can you taste it? Okay, 1 more minute and it's ready. When you see it like this, nice and thick and creamy, you know it's ready. Okay, tasted it. I'm just going to add, I'd like it a little bit more sugary, I think. So I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of icing sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to transfer the whipping cream to a glass jar and in the refrigerator. Now, Lorenzo just asked me what my favorite father time was that my husband did that he deserves Father of the Year. And there's many, because my husband was absolutely, in my opinion, one of the best fathers that I know of. He never missed a competition, never missed anything to do with the girls, even if it was a 10-minute project showing at the school, my husband was there. Unless, of course, which was rare, that, you know, with business and everything, he just couldn't be there. But one of my favorites, and I have to say, was he was in Italy on business, and my daughter qualified in the finals for her jazz number. And she said to me, "Oh, Mommy, I wish Dad could watch me in the qualifies, at the qualifies of my solo." And I told my husband on the phone, I said, "She really wants you here." He says, "Well, let me see what I can do." Well, sure enough, my husband booked an early flight to be back on the day. I remember it was a Tuesday, to come back to make it in time to see my daughter's final competition. Of course, the flight was late. My husband was panicking. They finally arrived. I had to go up to the qualifiers at the competition and ask them to keep delaying my daughter to the end because my husband was on his way from Europe to see her dance. They were so wonderful. They said, "Of course." So they kept moving her down, moving her down. My husband called me. He says, "I have no time to come home. I'm grabbing my luggage. I'm driving down to Bradford, which is about an hour and a half from the airport. I'm just going to come as I am with my luggage so that I don't miss Angelica's performance." I said, "Fantastic." So I told my daughter, well, she was just beaming. She said, "Oh, that's my dad." And I said, "Yep, he's coming." And sure enough, they hit traffic. And we're waiting and waiting, and the qualifiers came and said to me, "I'm sorry, Caterina, but you know, we postponed your daughter to the very end. She has to go on now." I said, okay, my daughter was so disappointed. Now, you don't know Angelica, but when she's disappointed, you read it on her face. I said, I'm so sorry, Daddy tried. He's on his way. He's in traffic. There's nothing we can do. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Okay, Mommy, I understand. So she goes into the back, ready to go on and perform. And the lights are going down, and I hear this ruckus at the exit, at the doors to come in, because they shut the doors before every performance, and there's this ruckus going on, and I'm like, what is? And there's my beautiful husband in a blue Italia sweater, his luggage, and he's like, my daughter's performing, I gotta get in there. And he rushes in, I wave him down, he drops his luggage, runs in the seat, the lights go down, and I said, God is good. God is good. And I said to my husband, oh, darn it, she doesn't know you're here. And my husband looked at me and he said, don't worry, she'll know I'm here. And I said, well, how is she going to know? And he said, as soon as my daughter was about to come out, he yelled, go, Angelica. And you saw her little face come out, and she's smiling, and she danced her little heart out. I'm so sorry, I don't mean to get emotional. That story just gets me all the time. Sorry. Okay, for the crepes, I like using clarified butter because it doesn't burn. Not too much though, very little, just to coat it enough. I have a quarter measuring cup here. Just gonna take a quarter cup of the batter inside my crepe pan. Okay. I heated up the pan at first. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Perfect. Now 1 minute on the other side. Just a little more. Perfect. It's to cool and dry. Don't worry if it doesn't come out perfect. Lorenzo is determined to make me cry today. What I wanted to add on with my story there is that the following week after that, there was another dance competition. And of course my husband was there, but this time we noticed a lot of fathers, which usually you don't see. You don't see a lot of fathers. But my husband never missed. And they all went up to my husband and they said, great, thanks. And my husband's like, what? He goes, because of that shenanigan that you pulled 2 weeks ago, flying in to watch your daughter dance for 3 minutes, now my wife said that I have to come to all the dance competitions, because if Angelica's father can manage to do it, so can we. Thank you. And actually, I'm going to add that when I do run into these mothers or fathers, do you know that they still remember this? They still remember this. Okay, my crepes are ready. Now we're ready to assemble. I have this beautiful aquamarine dish for my sweet papa tomorrow. I think it's beautiful. This recipe made approximately 20 crepes. So we're going to start. We're going to put one down, a dollop of that beautiful cream right in the center. You are going to need your offset spatula for this. And all I'm going to do is just spread it down. And just keep going. Now I'll come down here. We're having such a wonderful conversation here with Lorenzo and Mauro and Julia and all of us here. They're determined to make me cry today. And yes, I do have a wonderful experience, a papa experience with my older daughter as well, Rosalba. We were in Buffalo, and she loved to tap. She was the tap dancer, I can say that. She always won all the competitions when it came to tap. She was 12 years old. We were in Buffalo, which was about an hour and a half from here. And she won the championship, the national championship at Showstoppers in Buffalo. And she beat everybody from all of North America. And they were getting ready to announce the awards. And my daughter was, for all her categories, she was going to get this huge trophy. And one parent contested because my daughter was very tall, slender, beautiful. She looked about 15, 16 years old when she was 12. She didn't look 12 years old. Anyway, this parent went up to the judges and complained and said, no, there's no way this child is 12 years old. They're cheating. And even though the owners of the studio went there and said, no, we know for a fact that she is 12 years old. This is not right. She deserves the trophy. So she looked at my husband with those big eyes and she said, Daddy, I'm not going to get my trophy because they don't believe that I'm 12 years old. And that was it. You could mop up my husband from the floor. So he got into his car, drove back from Buffalo to Toronto, went to our home, picked up her passport, birth certificate, school ID, anything that had her name and birthday on it, got back into his car, drove all the way back to Showstoppers before the award ceremony, went running inside. My daughter's like, Daddy, did you get it? Did you get it? And my husband's like, yes, I got it. And he went to the judges, presented all the ID there of my daughter, staring down that mother who was saying that our daughter was not 12 and that we were cheating and lying. He was staring her down. And the judges all looked at each other and they said, yes, she is going to get her award as the top tap dancer in North America. And it was a huge, well, my daughter could not stop giving my husband hugs and kisses and hugs and kisses. You just would not believe. And that was a wonderful father-daughter moment. Thank you, Luce. And this was the picture of that competition. There's the huge trophy. And you can see the Showstoppers. And she got to keep her trophy and she got to bring it home. Now, that was a really nice, memorable moment. Okay, now that we've reached halfway, I'm going to put just a layer of blueberries. I just love that. Okay, I think that's wonderful. That's going to be lovely to bite into some blueberries. Okay, and now I'm just going to continue. Okay, so I finished all 20 layers. I'm placing the blueberries on top of the top layer. How gorgeous is this? I'm going to sprinkle it with some icing sugar and my cake is done. It has to go in the refrigerator overnight. My cake came out fantastic. I know that my sweet papa is going to love it, and my mama. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you will try this magnificent recipe. I want to wish you all a very happy Father's Day to all you fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, stepfathers, and of course we can't forget our fathers in heaven, who I know for a fact tomorrow are going to be down here to celebrate with us. Talk to them, wish them well, and it's Katarina from my home to yours. Don't forget to hit your like button, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. Ciao!
I was enough for her not long ago. I was her number one, she told me so. And she still means the world to me, just so you know. So be careful when you hold my girl. Time changes everything, life must go on. I'm not gonna stand in your way. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father runs deep. And I prayed that she'd find you someday, but it's still hard to give her away. I loved her first. How could that beautiful woman wait to you be the same freckle-faced kid that I knew, the one that I read all those fairy tales to, and tucked into bed all those nights. And I knew the first time I saw you with her, it was only a matter of time. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me,